sports.
We are the Fourth. We are the West.
There have been some big moments in this series for your Rangers. Prince Fielder's dramatic home run on Monday proved to be the game winner. They followed that up with a riveting walk-off on Tuesday. And they struck early and often yesterday, pounding one of the league's best pitchers. And, by the way, they climbed into first place in the AL West. So tonight, they look to keep it rolling behind Colby Lewis when the Rangers and the Astros meet next. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. Well, Elvis and Prince and company out autographing the fans, and the fans getting the autographs from the Rangers prior to tonight's ball game. It's a great night at Globe Life Park for a sweep. The Rangers have the brooms out as they take on the Astros. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Grieve, Steve Busby. Delighted you can join us for this Thursday night of Ranger baseball. And Rangers raring to go. They want to get a sweep under their belts. They want to get 2.5 games in front of the Houston Astros. And tonight they're turning to their veteran, Colby Lewis.
They are turning to Colby Lewis, Buzz, and his last game was a gem. He won his 15th game. That was a career high 15 wins for Colby, and he did it in pretty fine fashion. A 9-inning complete game, 2-hit shutout, didn't walk a batter, only threw 97 pitches. He's had some pretty good games against the Astros throughout his career. One more tonight would give the Rangers a 4-game sweep, and that's his goal for the game.
Now, Colby, no doubt, ready to go for this one. He is, this time of year is when Colby comes to the forefront, and the Rangers are going to be relying on him tonight as they take on the Astros. So they're looking to make it 4 in a row over Houston, 5 in a row overall. They're getting ready to go. Rangers and the Astros coming up next from Globe Life Park. Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T U-verse TV. U-verse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. A warm, breezy evening here at Globe Life Park. Perfect night to bring out the brooms. Rangers looking for the sweep. And before we get things started, let's head down to the field and check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz, this is the conclusion of a pivotal four-game series against these Houston Astros. We've seen the crowds increase in number and volume over the last 3 days, and Jeff Bannister says it's not lost on his guys.
These guys love to perform in front of them. They love to play for them. When our fans are, we said it earlier that there were a couple of times that a couple of those games I can remember I think it was in the New York games, the Boston games, that our fans were and even the Baltimore games when the opposing fans are trying to start a little chant, and our fans chant them down, and that was real inside our dugout. But for this, the type of atmosphere and the energy they brought it's been incredible for us.
So definitely something the players notice, something they feed off of, and when the momentum is going the way it is for this team on the field, it can spill over into the stands and vice versa. Here's hoping it continues here tonight, fellas.
All right, Emily, thank you. Nothing more poignant, though, than those signs at the We Believe signs for the 2015 World Series. Ranger fans coming to the ballpark prepared both graphically and vocally to support their Rangers. And they are taking the field here tonight. Colby Lewis headed out to the mound looking for another advance in his career total of wins, 15 so far, and looking for number 16 here tonight. Tom will tell you about the Astros lineup that Colby will face.
The Astros will start off with Jose Altuve tonight at second base. He's working on a 7-game hitting streak. George Springer will bat second. Carlos Correa is the shortstop, followed by the cleanup hitter Colby Rasmus, who's 9 for his last 23. Jed Lowry will bat fifth. Evan Gattis was 3 for 4 last night. He had a 2-run homer. Preston Tucker gets the start in left field. Luis Valbuena will bat 8th at first base. And Jason Castro off the disabled list. He was there with a right quad strain. Will play his first game tonight and catch and bat 9th.
And that is A.J. Hinch's lineup that will face the 36-year-old right-hander Colby Lewis. Our progressive scouting report, Colby a chance to rack up a lot of strikeouts tonight against the Astros if he has command of that slider. If he has a good sharp breaking ball, he should be able to get several punch-outs. And this is the time of year you really look to Colby Lewis to step forward. Rangers have seen it in September and in the postseason for a couple of years, and this is Colby's time to shine, and he has done it before, and he is looking to do it again here in 2015. So Jeff Bannister's club coming in tonight leading the American League West by a game and a half. Rangers come in at 37-33 at home. We'll show you the Ranger defense delivered to you tonight by the New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Napoli again to start in left field to Shields and Chu in the outfield. Mitch Moreland, no errors in his last 84 ball games at first. Odor, Andrews, and Beltre join him on the infield. And Chris Jimenez back behind the plate. He will catch for Colby Lewis. Well, the Rangers winners of the first 3 games in this series. They have won 4 in a row overall. 7 of their last 10. They are 21-5 in this ballpark since back at the end of July. And that is the second best record percentage-wise in the American League. It's also the most wins overall in all of baseball in that time at home. Well, Altuve stepping in. He will start things off tonight, backed up to the top of the order for the Astros. And the first pitch to him from Colby is in for strike 1. You'll remember Altuve had been batting second behind George Springer. And A.J. Hinch tonight, in an effort to get something going for the Astros, has flip-flopped the two of them here this evening. And Altuve reaching out, lofting a fly ball softly to center field. So 2 pitches, and Altuve is out, 1 gone for Springer.
Well, one thing interesting about that at bat, Buzz, no fastball to Altuve on the first pitch. He threw him a breaking ball. Altuve was taking anyway. Second pitch was a slider. Altuve was way out in front of it. And we mentioned a number of times he loves to hit a fastball for a strike early in the count. Colby didn't give him one.
So one gone. I remember when Colby was pitching against the Astros, not last time, the time before that. We talked about how well he was handling Altuve. Altuve was hitting about 220, I think, against the Rangers this year at that time. Hasn't improved very much after that. He's hitting just 231. So the Rangers have done a very, very good job against him this year. George Springer fouling off the next pitch, and Colby doing nothing but throw strikes. That's 4 pitches, 4 strikes, and he's ahead of Springer, 0-2. Springer at 259. His on-base percentage at 358. That's 6th among American League outfielders. And just able to get a piece of that sharp slider from Colby Lewis.
Well, obviously, when a pitcher like Colby throws a complete game, only gives up a couple of hits, and does it with less than 100 pitches, his pitches were working for him. And in Oakland, he had an excellent slider. He just kept it down and away to the right-hand hitters all day long. And if he can bring that same stuff into tonight's game, then I'm not going to say he's going to throw a 2-hit shutout, but he should have success.
Yeah, Colby didn't have an inordinate number of strikeouts, only 4 against Oakland, but there weren't a whole lot of hard-hit balls against him either. Tried the slider again, and Springer able to lay off that time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You remember in that game against the Oakland A's, Colby retired the first 21 men that he had faced. Went through 7 perfect innings before giving up his first base hit and base runner in the 8th inning. Ended up, as Tom told you, with that 2-hit shutout. The 21 straight retired to start the game, the most by a Ranger pitcher since Yu Darvish retired the first 26 in his near perfecto against the Astros in 2013. Now Springer pretty disciplined now that he'd seen that pitch a few times. He's run the count full. So Springer hitting second, trying to get aboard in front of the shortstop, Carlos Correa. Colby with a payoff pitch. And he got a fastball in on his fist and popped it out. Beltre and Elvis. And Elvis behind Beltre. And Beltre is going to stare him down. Elvis telling him, hey, the wind was blowing it back that way for my ball.
I think the one thing you can say about that at bat, the 3 sliders were balls. Obviously, either one of them could have caught it. Adrian's thinking, it's pretty close to the third baseman right there. Doesn't he know that I've got a few gold gloves under my belt? But the shortstop's the one that takes charge. Elvis has been around a little bit himself, too. And then when Springer did get the fastball after those 3 sliders, ball got in on his fist a little bit.
Well, 2 outs, bases empty. Carlos Correa takes ball 1. Correa 273 with 18 home runs and 52 RBI. Hard hit, but pulled foul down the left field line. Now we're talking about Colby Lewis. Let's take a look at our Kubota power stats for tonight. Complete game shutout, just 97 pitches on Friday against the A's. 7th complete game shutout with under 100 pitches in the major leagues this season. Just the 7th. It tells you how difficult a feat that is to pull off. Colby made it look easy. I think that was the game he had 3 different innings with fewer than 10 pitches. Get him out of that out of the inning. Pitch is high. And now Correa out in front of the count, 3 balls and a strike. Correa hitting third. Colby Rasmus has moved up to bat in the cleanup spot. He is next. The 3-1 pitch. Hit hard, pulled down the left field line. That's hooking into the corner. It is off the wall, a fair ball. Napoli plays to Karam. Correa into second. With a double about 3/4 of the way up the wall, right down the line.
Now, that was an at bat where Colby wasn't able to make the pitch with his slider. He left him up in out of the strike zone, and then the one that he hits right here just kind of spins in the middle of the plate. And fortunately, Correa hit it hard, but kept it in the ballpark anyway. And with 2 outs, you can work around that.
About 6 inches fair. That's right down that left field line. So, runner in scoring position. Now Colby Rasmus with 2 outs, trying to bring him home for the Astros. 1 ball, no strikes. Rasmus, 237 for the year with 19 home runs and 50 driven in. against Colby Lewis. You can see 5 for 18 in his career. Rasmus with a home run mixed in there among those 5 hits. Rangers shift him around to the right side with second baseman Rougned Odor playing just about midway between first and second. And that pitch missed low and away. 2 balls, no strikes to Rasmus. Pretty good look at the defense. The outfield pretty much straight away for Rasmus. Maybe 2 steps or so by Delino to Shields in toward right center. Breaking ball on 2-0, and Colby gets the inside corner. Colby sets a check of Correa at second. And Rasmus chops it foul. Rasmus, a very good fastball hitter, and he hasn't really seen a hittable fastball from Colby yet. I'd be surprised if he saw one in the middle of the plate. Crowd now starting to get into it. Last night it took a couple of innings. And tonight, they're not waiting. A red out Globe Life Park. 2-2 pitch. He appealed down to third, and Gabe Morales said no swing. The count has gone 3-2. Rasmus trying to get aboard to join Carlos Correa. Jed Lowry back in the lineup, is in the on-deck circle. Colby peering in for the sign. He is ready to work. Payoff pitch. Got him swinging.
Oh, best slider in the first inning.
Rasmus down on strikes. No runs, a hit, 1 left. After a half inning, the Astros nothing. The Rangers coming up. Going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Rangers batting order.
Well, Delino to Shields working on a 5-game hitting streak will lead off. Shin-Soo Choo will bat second. Prince Fielder, fresh off a 2-home-run game last night, will bat third. Adrian Beltre hitting .462 on this homestand is the cleanup hitter. Mitch Moreland is fifth. Mike Napoli, .341 with 4 home runs in his last 44 at-bats, gets the start against the right-hander. Rougned Odor is seventh. Elvis, no errors in his last 33 games, will bat eighth, and Chris Jimenez, the catcher, is hitting ninth.
Well, here is Delino to Shields leading off, and Lance McCullers, the 21-year-old right-hander, misses outside. McCullers, very much a power pitcher. Fastball, a power curve, an occasional change. Rangers hope to catch him on a night when his command is off. They did the first time around, and McCullers didn't get out of the first inning against the Rangers. So they hope history repeats itself here at Globe Life Park tonight. 1-1 pitch. That is in at the knees. It's 1-2. Lance McCullers, the son of former Major League pitcher, also Lance McCullers. Played 7 big league seasons, and Lance said, yeah, he was finished playing, though, by the time I was born. Line drive to right. Springer playing fairly shallow. Able to make the grab for out number 1. So Delino lines out to Springer. We'll take a look at the rest of the Astros defense behind McCullers tonight. You saw Springer in right field, joined by Rasmus in center and Preston Tucker in left. The Astros, 71 errors this season is all. That's second fewest in the American League. Valbuena, Altuve, Correa, and Lowry around the infield. Jason Castro back in the lineup. He is catching. Here's Shin-Soo Choo. And McCullers fires strike 1. Choo on base 4 times last night. Went 3 for 4. 4th time this year he's been on base that many times in a ball game. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last 6 games, how about Shin-Soo Choo hitting .435 on 10 for 23. Lines one to left center field. Over to cut it off is Tucker, but Shin-Soo Choo, you know what, the last 3 games, you could replay that same hit and be accurate with it, because he's had that hit 3 times, once in each of the last 3 games now.
He's definitely hitting the ball on the barrel of the bat. The pitch is on the outside corner. Well, he lines it over shortstop. Last night we saw him do the same thing and then rip one to right field as well.
Yeah.
So he's just in a nice groove right now, confidently hitting the ball on the nose game after game.
And speaking of being in a groove, how about the big filler, Prince Fielder, stepping into the batter's box now. Multi-home run game last night with the couple up. 21 home runs now for the year. 83 RBI, and that .314 average moving on up into the top 4 in the American League batting race. And McCullers with that good sharp breaking ball. That is his main off-speed pitch. And he has wowed people with that ever since he got into professional baseball. Twice in his minor league career, McCullers was voted the best breaking ball at whatever league he happened to be in. Last year was at Double-A. That one's in the dirt. Castro able to block it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The fielder with 5 RBI last night. Brent's a current 6-game hitting streak. Seen him go 12 for 27. Got Choo at first. Astros in the overshift. They have 3 players on the right side of the infield. You can see only the third baseman Lowry left on the left side, and he is closer to second than he is to third in that alignment. 1-2 pitch. Lashed foul. A lot of breaking balls from McCullers to Prince Fielder. Our forward leaderboard, batting average leaders in the American League. There's Prince at number 4, behind Miguel Cabrera, Xander Bogaerts, and Michael Brantley. Jose Altuve just a point behind Prince. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. The 5 RBI that Prince had last night, a season high for him. He's got Choo at first base with 1 out here in the bottom of the 1st inning. And the Rangers have done a lot of first inning damage on this homestand. High and away, 3-2.
It'll be interesting to see what he throws on the 3-2 pitch. He's had a little bit of success in this bat with his curveball. Hasn't thrown his fastball for a strike. Well, let's see what he decides to throw.
And kind of go along with that scoring early. 9 straight wins now when the Rangers score in the first inning. They've done that. They have scored in the first inning 4 of the 6 games on this homestand. HOU establishing his lead at first. McCullers is ready. The payoff pitch coming to fielder. Breaking ball, chop foul.
There's your answer. Yeah, the curveball.
No, HOU back to first. We will reset and start one more time. Highest average for Prince Fielder in the American League against right-handed pitching, a 341 mark. Facing a 21-year-old right-hander in Lance McCullers. Another 3-2 pitch. And another hanging curveball that time was hit foul. McCullers, fortunately for him, took enough off to get Fielder out in front. Another one of those situations, though, the more Prince sees that, the better his timing is going to be. Well, that gentleman got the ball, and he also got a bruise that I think the bruise is probably going to stay with him longer than the ball. Inside ball 4. Fielder draws the walk. 2 on with 1 out for Adrian Beltre.
Well, McCullers was definitely being as careful as he could to Prince not to give him a fastball to hit. I guess after you watch a guy go into the upper deck twice the night before, you're going to be pretty careful. Well, he battled him pretty well, though. He made some pretty good pitches with his curveball. Prince got behind in the count, battled back in the count, fouled off the 3-2 pitch, and worked the walk.
Well, Beltre, in the only meeting that he's had with Lance McCullers, had a 2-run single. He has runners now at first and second with 1 out here in the first. That breaking ball just nibbles at the outside corner for strike 1. Adrian kind of looking around, and Tony Randazzo say, really? In September, Beltre with 13 RBI. That's 5th most in the American League. Couple of home runs, hitting at 274. It has been a little bit up and down for Adrian as far as the average goes, but when they have come in bunches, driving in runs. 0-2. HOU at second. He's trailed by Prince Fielder. HOU singled, Fielder walked. Beltre trying to bring one or both or all 3 of them home. The check swing, the appeal down to first. And Jerry Davis said, no, that wasn't a swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Adrian, like Prince Fielder, a 6-game hitting streak. He has hit safely in all 6 games of this homestand. He's also scored at least 1 run in all 6 games. McCullers with a 1-2. Diving stop by Lowry to second. Back to first, not in time. What a play by Jed Lowry at third. He saved a run and got the force at second.
Yeah, Adrian saw all curveballs in that at bat. Swung at the last one, hit it pretty well. Looked like it might have a chance for a base hit. But a good shot at Lowry, taking a couple of steps in the dive, making a nice play, getting a force out. Adrian did beat the throw, which gives Mitch a chance to allow the Rangers to score in the first inning.
So runners at the corners with 2 outs. Moreland steps in. Mitch 1 for 1 against McCullers in that game back here in early August. Mitch also had an RBI against the right-hander. McCullers gave up 6 runs in that first inning. Did not get out of the first. In the dirt, and Mitch leans on it for ball 1. Moreland at 283. Had an 0 for last night. The only Ranger starter that didn't have at least 1 hit. 20 home runs, 74 driven in. He's got Chu at third, Beltre at first. 1 ball and 1 strike. And again, the Astros in the overshift. A huge hole between the shortstop, Correa, who's on the first base side of second, and Lowry, the third baseman. That's 110 feet of hole. Shot foul, a ball and 2 strikes now to Mitch. Well, the Rangers making McCullers work here in the first. 23 pitches already for the young right-hander. He's given up a hit and a walk. Working to Mitch Moreland with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Mitch tired of waiting, so he asks for time and backs out. Moreland, in his last 11 ball games, has hit .270 with 7 RBI. I'd like to add to those totals right here. Now McCullers ready. We'll try the 1-2 pitch again. The Rangers, by winning the first 3 games of this series, have secured the coveted silver boot for this year. Lost it last year to the Astros for the first time in forever. They won it back this year. They have won 11 of the 15 meetings between the 2 teams. Got him swinging. McCullers with that nasty curveball gets the strikeout. Rangers are gone. No runs, a hit. They strand to after 1. Rangers nothing, Astros nothing. Just use hashtag Southwest Data StrongFan, and you just might see yourself in one of our upcoming broadcasts. It's all brought to you by the good folks at T-Mobile, and we'll show you tonight's selection a little bit later on in the ballgame. Well, Jed Lowry will start things off against Colby Lewis here in the Astros' second scoreless ballgame. Each club with 1 base hit, and Lowry takes low for ball 1. Jed Lowry had to leave Monday night's ballgame. He fouled a pitch down on his foot, and then Cole Hamels hit him on the next pitch in the foot. So a double whammy, and Lowry had to take a couple of nights off. He's back in there tonight. And a fly ball to Mike Napoli, the second one that he's handled out there. 1 away.
Yeah, gracefully handled that one. Looked like a ballerina out there making that play.
Well, Knapp's been out every day before batting practice, taking fly balls from Jay Stingler, and he's getting acclimated to left field. He said it's still an adventure for him, but he feels comfortable, and he's having a good time with it. Well, one away. Here's Evan Gattis. Strike one. Gattis, 24 home runs. He did his 24th last night. 79 RBI. Both those top marks on the Astros club. Colby came back with a fastball and caught Gattis looking for a slider. Gattis batting at an even 240 at the moment. First player since 1980 with 9 triples and no stolen bases. Tells you the kind of, well, I'm not going to say it's a fluke, but for Evan Gattis to get 9 triples, something extraordinary had to happen. It's called Minute Maid Park with Powell's Hill.
Yeah, you still have to hit the ball well.
Yeah, you do.
I wouldn't think he'd have another season with one.
Colby gets his second strikeout. 2 up, 2 away. Preston Tucker coming up. And let's welcome in Jim Knox.
I appreciate it, Buzz. North Texas Giving Day today, and look who we have here. It's Karen Morris of the Texas Rangers, here to tell us how North Texas Giving Day can help out the Rangers Foundation, right?
That's right. Today, fans can make donations at northtexasgivingday.org, and donations of $25 or more will be matched by bonus funds and contest prizes, and all those dollars go back to help us help more kids in our community through our programs in baseball, health, education, and kids in crisis. So you just go to northtexasgivingday.org from now through midnight, and those donations will be amplified by additional bonus funds.
And bonus points, explain that.
So every dollar that's given is amplified by a certain percentage based upon the total number given for nonprofits today. So it'll just help us go that much further. So every dollar stretches that much further. So it's really important today to go online and make that donation. We appreciate everyone's help all year, obviously.
There you go. So help out the kids, TexasRangers.com, and helps out the TexasRangers.com Foundation. Exactly
absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
Right. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
so
Karen.
much.
Buzz?
All right, Noxie, thank you. Now 2 outs, bases empty. Preston Tucker taking the pitch outside. It's 2-1. Tucker getting his start in left field tonight, batting at .253 with 13 home runs, 33 driven in, 0 for 6 against Colby Lewis, and Colby missing badly high and away. It's 3-1. The grizzled veteran Colby Lewis out there. Goes to the wide, the 3-1 pitch to Tucker. 3-2. And the Rangers doing a little shifting of their own with Tucker up there. Left-handed pull hitter, Rougned Odor. But is there a 9.5 position out there? Yeah, that's about a right fielder plus.
You can't play much deeper than that and field a ground ball and have time to throw a guy out at first base.
I wouldn't think so. Payoff pitch. Looper to right. Going back is Odor, coming on his Chu, and Odor makes the catch in front of Shin-Soo Choo. Well, there you go. That may be the longest pop-up to a second baseman that we've seen. 3 up, 3 down. Colby Lewis, the Rangers, sent the Astros out after 1.5, no score. Airport Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Why don't you pay a visit to your local Texas Ford dealer? Ford is the best in Texas. Now, bottom of the second inning, Mike Napoli will start things off against Lance McCullers. Napoli, Odor, and Andrews, the first three to do the swinging against the right-hander. First pitch is on the outside corner for strike one. Now, there were some surprised folks, I guess, when they walked into the clubhouse today and saw Mike Napoli's name in the lineup in left field against the right-hander. And Napoli loops one to right center. That falls for a base hit. And that's exactly the explanation that Jeff Bannister gave. He said, I like the looks of Mike Napoli in our lineup no matter what right now.
I couldn't agree with him more. There's, obviously there's risk involved defensively. But Knapp has been a guy that's played against lefties and righties his whole career. He was a huge part of the Rangers' World Series success. Team that got to the World Series. And when he's hot, doesn't matter whether it's a righty or a lefty, ride the wave.
I was going to say, we go back to 2011. It didn't matter what arm you were throwing with or if you were bowling the ball up there. Napoli was going to get a hit, hit it hard someplace. And he does get aboard here to start the Rangers' second. Rougned Odor takes ball one. Odor a .276 average now with 14 home runs, 55 driven in. Rougned with number 14 last night. He has a 4-game hitting streak coming into play tonight. Inside, gets away momentarily from Castro, but it was down low, and you had Castro there. You had the umpire Tony Randazzo there at home plate. Mike Napoli couldn't really get a good look at where the ball was.
He did the right thing. He wasn't sure. Next thing you know, you take off, catcher reaches down and throws you out.
Now, 2 balls and no strikes to Rougned. Odor 2 for 3 last night. Both the RBI coming on that 2-run shot. And McCullers dropping in the breaking ball. 2-1. That 4-game streak we were talking about. 7 for 15 for Odor. 7 RBI in those 4 ball games. Napoli a modest lead at first. Now time called. And again, the Astros shift as much, if not more, than anybody in the American League. See Correa, the shortstop, only a step or two to the third base side of right behind second. Altuve way over in the hole at first. Skied to shallow center. Rasmus handles that. Napoli back to first. 1 away. Elvis Andrews coming up.
You can tell McCullers is a pretty advanced product for a 21-year-old. The way he can throw his curveball for strikes. I didn't think there's too many 21-year-olds who can drop in a 2-0 curveball a couple of times to good hitters who are hot. But he's been able to do it in this game.
So 1 away. Here's Elvis. Andrews stepping in, hitting at .258. Half a dozen home runs. That ties his career high for a season. 55 RBI. Yeah, McCullers talking about his dad. He said, my dad retired from playing 16 months before I was born, speaking to some reporters. So he said, I didn't have the benefit of seeing my dad play in person, but I saw a lot of tape of him playing, and he always helped me out with the mental side of the game, the preparation. I've got to think mechanics were talked about a little bit too, because his mechanics are pretty good. And the ability, like you said, Tom, to drop in a curveball. And I'm sure his dad stressed the importance of being able to do things like that.
He's definitely a pretty close to a finished product at age 21, which is very rare.
Take a look at our Coors Light cold hard facts. Elvis Andrews has not struck out in 55 consecutive plate appearances. That's the longest active streak in Major League Baseball, and the longest streak of Elvis's career. Last time Elvis struck out, go back to September the 2nd in San Diego. Cold hard fact brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. numbers for Elvis so far this year, and he has been doing a lot of good work. You go back over 60 games now. You're talking about 2.5 months or so. Elvis has been a .288 hitter. Driven in just about a run every other game. That's in the dirt. It gets away. This time Napoli had a good angle on it, so Mike is able to advance on the wild pitch. He's in scoring position now with 1 out. Well, it's nice to be able to throw a curveball in when you're behind in the count 2-0. It's also dangerous if you bounce that thing. Puts a lot of pressure on the catchers when you have somebody on base, and particularly when you have them on third. Castro could not keep that near home plate. A 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now McCullers ready. Two and two. And you can see he's got a very good arm. Mid-90s fastball when he decides to throw it that hard. He'll pitch at 92, 93 most of the time. Then he gets in a spot where he wants a little extra, and he has it there.
Yeah, he was 91, 92 to the first couple of hitters. Then he got in a jam, and he did amp it up.
2-2 pitch. Inside, Coy called a swing on Elvis, and he is gone. So Jerry Davis thought that Elvis went through the hitting zone with the head of that bat. That is out number 2.
Yeah, I'm afraid, Elvis didn't like the call. It doesn't feel like you do that when you're hitting. And then when you look at it, I think sometimes you're a little surprised that the bat went that far through the strike zone.
Yep.
Just doesn't feel that way when you check your swing.
2 gone. Napoli still at second. Here's Chris Jimenez. Goes after the first pitch, hits it to pretty deep right field. Springer going back, and right as he steps onto the warning track, makes the catch. And that will do it. Well, the Rangers get a leadoff Napoli single, but stranding. We've played 2 at Globe Life Park. No score. Most popular way to follow the Rangers' push to the postseason is with MLB.com at bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. You can enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and a whole lot more. Get MLB.com at bat today. Well, the Astros come to bat here in the top of the 3rd inning. Scoreless ball game. Luis Valbuena to start things off against Colby Lewis. The left-handed hitting first baseman takes strike one. Valbuena, not much as far as the average is concerned, just 206, but he is second on the Astros with 22 home runs. That is a career high for the converted corner infielder, or third base corner infielder. 0 for his last 9 trips to the plate, however, with 4 strikeouts as he faces Colby. 2-1. Great night out here at Globe Life Park, and the crowd continuing to file in. We saw this happen last night, and it looks like tonight's crowd is, you know, every bit as large as it was last night. Over 34,000 fans came in last night. And again, not many tickets sold in advance. There were almost 7,000 walk-up tickets sold last night. And it looks like we're talking about the same thing here this evening. 2-2 pitch. All that stuff about school being in session and football and whatever else you want to talk about. When you win, when you play exciting baseball, people will come out and want to be a part of that. And that's what the Rangers have provided. Another 2-2. Go back to 2010 and 11, the postseason. Colby will tell you that he had never been in a stadium that was as loud as Globe Life Park was then. You couldn't even hear yourself think. He said it was electrifying for the players. Up the middle, Colby. A little nonchalant right into the glove.
Piece of cake.
Way to charge that thing. That's a veteran move right there.
Now, if that ball was on the other side of Kobe, it might have been a different story, but it's right on the glove hand. Just reach down and catch it.
Right there, right where it's supposed to be.
Play by Kobe. Field your position.
Well, one gone. Here's Jason Castro. Catcher back in the lineup. Was on the disabled list since the latter part of August. Had a strained right quad. Kept him out of action. That's into center field. A base hit for Castro, so he is aboard with one out. And before Jose Altuve comes up for the second time, let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break.
Second baseman Jose Altuve.
All right, John, thank you. Here we are scoreless tonight. Astros hitting in the top of the third. They have one on and one out. Jose Altuve, who skied to center field starting things off this evening, will step in. And he's out in front of it again. A little pop up that Elvis is going back on. Napoli staying out of the way. And what I mean by that is he didn't want to have to come in to call Elvis off.
Well, probably one of the things, Buzz, that Elvis and Knapp have talked about is if it's possible for Elvis to get back and take the ball, go ahead and do it.
Right.
Elvis had a little more experience on those kind of plays than Knapp has. That would make sense, and I'm sure the same thing is true with Delino. If there's any doubt, then Delino will just come over and take the ball. Cover as much ground in left center as you can. Make it as easy for Knapp as possible.
Well, 2 outs. Now George Springer, who popped out to Elvis his first time. Out of play to the right. It is 0-1. Springer and the Astros seeing a lot of sliders from Colby here in the early going. More than Colby used against Oakland his last time out. But it's understandable because the Astros a pretty good fastball hitting team. And they are aggressive, especially early in the count. One ball and one strike. Springer Missed about 2 months of the season with that fractured wrist. And since he has come back, this is his 12th ball game. He's reached base safely in each of the 11 games coming into tonight. In the air to right field. HOU has this one measured. That'll do it. Astros get a base hit, but strand a runner. We've gone through 2.5 at Globe Life Park. Rangers nothing, Astros nothing. This Sunday at September 20th. Buckner International presents Christian music sensation David Crowder that follows the Mariners-Rangers game. Head to TexasRangers.com/concerts. You can get game tickets and information on how you can see the David Crowder show from down on the field. Bottom of the third inning. It'll be the top of the Ranger order to face Lance McCullers. Delino DeShields, Shin-Soo Choo, and Prince Fielder. Hits are even at 2 apiece. Rangers got Choo as far as third base in the first inning. Couldn't get him home. Delino lined to right to start things off tonight. And he lines one to center. Drifting back and to his left. Colby Rasmus makes the grab. Oh, Delino 0 for 2, and he has hit the ball right on the nose both times.
Not much you can do to direct a line drive. And they hadn't played well that time. Rasmus over in right center field, waiting for it when it got there.
Well, here's Choo, who had the base hit going to left field. And again, the Astros overshift on him. They have 3 players on the right side of the infield, and Jed Lowry, the third baseman, about 30 feet off the left field line, or actually the third base line. And Choo takes a strike. If I were a hitter, then in this case, I'd be looking for a pitch on the inner part of the plate that you can turn on. We've seen Choo turn on him before. He's going to go the other way again. Well, you keep throwing it out there, he's going to keep doing exactly that. Choo with his second hit of the night.
Boy, earlier in the year when he was hitting a lot of ground balls to second base, he was jumpy at the plate, pressing at the plate. Now it just looks like he's taking batting practice. Just nice and relaxed, nice smooth swings, and making solid contact, boy.
Oh, Choo 2 for 2. Rangers with 3 hits. And here's Prince Fielder, who drew a walk in the first inning. Astros stay in that overshift, and Fielder nubs one foul over toward the Astros dugout for strike 1. Fielder against the Astros has 29 career home runs and 96 RBI. That's the most RBI against any opponent for Prince. The 29 home runs are the second most, and he has pretty much owned Houston. 2 home run game last night, a game winner here on Monday night. 3 home runs in the first 3 games. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. "15 games this year, Fielder has driven in 14. A .375 average. I think that qualifies as ownership.
I think so.
Now McCullers okays the sign and sets. 2-1. It looks like Lance McCullers Sr. taught his son something else, and that's a healthy respect for a slugger.
Especially one that's hot.
Yeah. HOU bluffed to move to second, and Fielder took a backdoor breaking ball.
That one looked like it was going to get on the outside corner. Never quite got there.
2-2 the count. Good look at that loaded right side of the infield for the Astros. McCullers checking HOU. Inside, 3-2. So again, Fielders run the string all the way out. Prince trying to get aboard to join HOU. Adrian Beltre in that on-deck circle. And the ever-growing crowd getting noisy again. 3-2 with 1 out. HOU on the move. The pitch fouled back.
Another healthy swing by Prince at a high fastball. Good rip at it. Just a little bit underneath it.
Jason Castro out there to talk to the 21-year-old Lance McCullers. Probably asking that he slow HOU down a little bit so that the jump isn't quite as much in case Fielder strikes out. Now Castro back down behind the plate. He will flash the signs out to Lance McCullers. Crowd again getting into it. McCullers ready, another 3-2 pitch. Rip foul.
Well, the way Prince is swinging the bat, I'm not at all surprised that McCullers is being as careful as he can with him, going out of his way not to give him a good pitch to hit. He's right on some of those pitches.
Yep, sure is. Now HOU, who has been moving on the last 2 pitches, we'll see if he does again with another 3-2 coming up. HOU moving, and the pitch is low, ball 4.
Carbon copy of the first inning.
Yep. A single, walk with 1 out, 2 aboard. Adrian Beltre coming up, A.J. Hinch checking things out from his vantage point with the Astros dugout.
Well, the last time Adrian hit in this situation, he saw all curveballs from McCullers. He ended up hitting one fairly well to third base. Lowry made a nice play to get a force out at second base on it. Shade Adrian around in the outfield.
See if gap. Go ahead.
I was just going to say big gap in left center field.
Yeah, and I was going to see if the infield was going to shade him around to the left again too. And Adrian pulled the first time up. He might just take a shot at that expanding hole on the right side. We've seen him in run producing situations try and do that. McCullers' first pitch. In for strike 1. Fastball at the knees. Beltre at .271 with the average. 58 RBI, and it has been growing rather steadily. Adrian 28 RBI in his last 31 games. 1-1. He also has been on a binge RBI lately. 6-game hitting streak. He has driven in 8 in those 6 games. The 1-1. 1-2. Adrian and have a little discussion with Tony Randazzo, and both of them are smiling, so that's okay. But Adrian down on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Chew away from second, Fielder from first. Did he go? Yes, he did. And Adrian said, hey, why don't you ask Jerry Davis down there? And Randazzo said, no, I can see it just fine. Now Jeff Bannister's going to come out and make sure his third baseman stays in the ball game.
That's one of the reasons Adrian frequently on a pitch like that points to the first baseman, because before the umpire at home plate rings him up, he wants to make sure that the first base umpire, who has the better view, is the one that has the final decision. I think that's what he was saying to him. I may have swung, but you could have waited and asked the umpire at first base. From that angle, it didn't look like he swung.
Hard to tell when you're looking head on at it. This give it a better idea here. That's pretty close.
Yeah, that's a toss-up.
Yeah. You know, in any event, that is out number 2. Still first and second. Mitch Moreland struck out his first time. Will step in. McCullers trying to backdoor that breaking ball, and somebody had a latch on it. 1-0. Moreland 20 home runs, 74 driven in. Got Chew at second base, Fielder at first, 2 outs. One ball and 1 strike. Moreland been struggling a lot lately. Runners in scoring position for the year, 265. But he just won for his last 17 in these situations. He'd gone through a real good streak. Got a 340 average for a month. But now he's kind of gotten on the other side of that. Takes that pitch outside. It's 2-1. Mitch leads the Ranger team, though, with 14 game-winning RBI this year. The 2-1 from McCullers. The appeal to third, no swing. Gabe Morales making an emphatic safe zone. 3-1 to Mitch. So Moreland trying to keep this inning going. Mike Napoli is in the on-deck circle. Crowd getting a little bit antsy for something good to happen for the Rangers here in the third. Now Mitch backs out. McCullers reading the signs, is set. The 3-1 to Moreland. 3-2.
Didn't throw him a fastball.
Nope.
Again, 21-year-old out there battling away, but he knows those 3-1 fastballs don't always work. That looked like a changeup. I haven't seen a lot of changeups generally in that situation. Through 58 pitches, it's been a curveball.
So 3-2, both Fielder and Chew will be off and moving. They'll get a running start. McCullers checks him, the payoff pitch. Loop foul back into the seats. We'll reset and try it again. Pitch already with a career high in RBI with 74. His home run high is 23. Set that a couple of years ago. Everybody ready to go one more time. Castro flashing the signs out. Now McCullers ready. Another 3-2 pitch. Hit well to left field. That is up the alley and deep. Back at the wall. It's off the wall. And gone. That ball got out over the wall for Mitch Moreland, a 3-run home run. And the Rangers lead it 3-0.
Well, it looked like Mitch hit it well, but it didn't look like the kind of stroke that would have driven the ball out of the ballpark to left center field. And it just underscores how strong Mitch is. He just reached out, stroked that ball the other way on a 3-2 pitch, and it carried all the way out of the ballpark. Did not look like his home run swing, but he is some kind of strong. That ball jumped all the way out of here.
I lost that in the Southwest.com sign out there. I thought it hit the wall and it just disappeared. Well, Mitch Moreland is 21st home run. And now Napoli pops up the first pitch on the right side. Altuve makes the catch. That'll do it. But Moreland, a huge 2-out, 3-2 home run. The Rangers score 3 times on 2 hits and nobody left. Mitch going yard. Rangers got the lead at 3-0.
The game, the Fox Sports Fan Express rolling in from the great town of Waco, Texas. That's right, on board. Some of the fantastic listeners of ESPN Radio. I'll tell you what, Q, you guys are a little excited about being here at a Ranger game, huh? Packed house for you.
Yeah, we got a back house. We got a 4-month-old. We got a 3-year-old right here. I mean, everybody came from Waco, Texas to see the Rangers against the Astros, and we're having a great time, y'all.
Everybody's having a great time except this little guy. Let's hold it down. Poor guy. There's no crying in baseball. Buzz.
Noxie, you're right.
There's not much you could do worse to a little baby than subject him to that kind of noise. Poor little kid. I don't blame that kid for crying. Little kids hear that stuff louder than we do. Louder than you and I do, for sure.
What?
Take that poor kid to a quiet spot.
Noxie's trying to make up to him, but not working.
Just keep the noise down out there. Poor little guy.
Elvis will throw out his counterpart. That is out number 1. Well, Correa retired. Now Colby Rasmus. So Mitch Moreland providing the runs of support that Colby Lewis has. Well, he's got about half the runs of support that Colby usually gets. Colby gets around 6 runs per start, and Mitch supplying half those with one swing of the bat. His 21st home run of the year. So now Mitch and Prince Fielder in that heated race for the top spot on the Ranger home run list. Both of them with 21. Rasmus, who struck out the first time he faced Colby Lewis, takes ball 1. Well, there's still a buzz going around the ballpark here. Folks are loving every minute of that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Saw the replay of that home run swing. You know, originally when we watched it in real time, it looked like Mitch just kind of reached out and flicked it. And saw the replay of it, and he drove that ball pretty well. That was a much more forceful swing than it looked like originally. Smooth. Just watching it off the bat. Smooth, yeah. Yeah, he didn't jump out of his shoes to hit it or anything like that. But
Rasmus pops it up, and again, Beltre and Andrews trying to decoy folks. Explain it to Mitch, to Adrian. This is where I catch the ball. You stay over there.
Here's the swing we're talking about. Yeah, it was a pitch where he is going the other way with an outside pitch, but a little bit more behind that swing than it looked like off the bat. It looked like he was off the bat. Watching it from up here, it looked like he was fooled a little bit and just reached out and flicked it. But when you watch the replay, he drove that ball pretty well. No wonder it got out of here.
Yeah, the only one that was fooled on that was me. Fooled where the ball
I wasn't sure it was going to be a home run either.
Well, 2 outs very quickly here in the 4th. Jed Lowry, who flied to left field, waiting for the 1-0 pitch and rips it into right for a base hit. Well, Lowry 1 out of 2. A 2-out single has him aboard. Evan Gattis coming up. Gattis struck out swinging when he faced Colby back in the 2nd inning. Gattis, a powerful right-handed hitter, and the Astros brought him in specifically to be the everyday DH, be a run producer in the middle of that order. They really didn't have a veteran hitter that they could count on as in the middle. That ball's ripped to left. Napoli going back. He can't get it. It's over his head. Coming around third is Lowry. The throw to the plate not in time. And Gattis with the RBI double makes it a 3-1 Ranger lead.
That's the kind of ball that will test an outfielder who's played the outfield his whole career, let alone someone who's just been out there for a few games. That hard line smash right at you. Very difficult to judge that, especially when that's the first one you've ever seen come at you like that.
So Gattis drives in his 80th run of the year. He is at second with 2 outs. And Preston Tucker now will come up. Rangers going to an overshift with Elvis Andrews moving on the first base side of second. Beltre has to stay reasonably close to third with Gattis at second base. Tucker is swinging a foul for strike 1. Tucker now at 252 with the average. He was 0 for 1 in last night's ball game. Came in defensively late in the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tucker this year against right-handed pitching is hitting .269. He's had all 13 of his home runs and 32 of his 33 RBI against right-handed pitchers. Out of play down the first base side. The count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. So the hits are even at 4 for each ball club. Rangers leading 3-1. Colby peering in for the sign from Chris Jimenez. Evan Gattis stepping his lead off at second. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Astros tonight finishing up a 10-game, 11-day road trip. They had stops in Oakland and Anaheim before coming here. And they were 1-2 in each of the first 2 stops. They've gone 0-3 here, so they're just 2-7 on this trip so far. And that hit him. Pitch coming down and in, looked like the breaking ball, and that plunked Preston Tucker.
First baseman, Luis Valbuena.
A.J. Hinch and the Astros trainer are going to go out and tend to Tucker, who stayed at home plate, kind of bent over with his hands on his knees, waiting for that pain to subside. He didn't flinch in this thing. Right in the knee, in the side of the knee. So he's convinced him that he's okay. Tucker will stay at first base. First and second, still 2 outs. Luis Valbuena will be the hitter. Valbuena tapped right back to the mound his first time up. .206 the average for Valbuena. Colby with the first pitch to him. Valbuena now 0 for 4 in this series. And he is sporting an 0 for 10 this year with runners in scoring position. Has not been a good year for Valbuena, just 185. Little looper out in the shallow center. That's going to fall for a hit. Odor has it. Here comes Gattis. Here comes Odor's throw. And he can't hang on to it. Jimenez trying to catch and make a tag and couldn't get it done. And Gattis scores. That makes it a 3-2 Ranger lead.
I've hit a couple of balls hard this inning. That wasn't one of them. That little blooper was hit so softly that Odor was able to go to his right and get it himself. Slider got in on the fist, but Valbuena muscled it over Elvis. Odor made a good throw. Chris wasn't able to handle the hop, and didn't matter anyway. Gattis was going to be slightly ahead of the tag anyway, it looked like.
Well, Mike Maddox out there to slow things down, see if they can figure out a way to get the final out. Gattis scoring the second run of the inning. Runners still at first and second, still 2 outs. And Jason Castro will be the hitter. Now Castro singled his first time up against Colby Lewis. .222 season average for Castro. Colby taking a little off the breaking ball, making it a curveball. And it's in for strike one. Castro's base hit his first time, right back through the middle. 143 the average for Castro with runners in scoring position. Pulled on the ground to Odor. Gobbles that up onto first. That'll do it. Astros come back with a couple of runs on 3 hits. They lead 2. We played 3.5. It's the Rangers 3 and the Astros 2.
As we head to the bottom of the 4th here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, taking 3 of 4 from the Astros would be impressive for this Rangers team, but 4 out of 4 would be even better.
We have an amazing team that we're gonna give 100% in the field all the time, and especially if we're coming here in Texas, he's gonna face a good team that is gonna be hard to beat. So right now we're feeling really good as a team. Everybody's doing a tremendous job, bullpen, starting pitcher, defensively, offensively. So, I mean, our confidence is really high right now. At the same time, we're going to keep working hard, staying humble and continue to keep getting better.
How can you do that interview with a straight face?
So, well, they become regular occurrences here in the last week or so in the clubhouse. Different things to spice the pregame routine up, pregame interviews in particular. So a couple days ago we had the horse head with an old man head. Today we had the horse head with the 2 guys in masks that are serving as bodyguards for Elvis, which he says you need when you're in first place because people are coming after you. So the Rangers having a lot of fun, not only out here on the field, but also too in the clubhouse.
That's funny, bodyguard.
Good stuff.
They're coming after Elvis.
That makes perfect sense now.
Well, if I was coming after Elvis, I'd think twice if I saw those 2 guys.
Elvis struck out his first time against McCullers. He takes strike 1 here. Odor out on the chopper to first. That's how the bottom of the 4th begins. Rangers lead now down to 1. It is 3-2. McCullers to the wind. Misses a little bit high. A ball and a strike. It's the inside corner. McCullers looked like he might have cut that fastball a little bit. 1-2 to Elvis. Two-hopper out to Correa. 2 gone. Now next will be Chris Jimenez. Folks, tomorrow the Rangers begin a weekend series against the Seattle Mariners. Fans attending tomorrow night's game will be treated to a post-game fireworks show set to a theme highlighting the evolution of dance music. Purchase tickets in the upper reserve seating section for just $14 when you use the online coupon code FIREWORKS at TexasRangers.com/specials. Chris Jimenez flied out to pretty deep right field his first time up. One ball and one strike. McCullers trying to set the Rangers down in order for the first time tonight. Two and one. Chris, as you saw, the .232 average. He has slumped a bit in his last 8 ball games. 158 average, but again, Jeff Bannister talking about both Chris Jimenez and Bobby Wilson. Hey, look, the job they're doing behind the plate, handle the pitching staff. Everything offensively we get from him is gravy. Rasmus takes care of that fly ball. That'll do it. So McCullers does have a 1-2-3 inning. Rangers gone. We have finished 4 innings at Globe Life Park. Rangers leading the Astros 3-2. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. The Rangers have a 1-run advantage as Colby Lewis goes to work here in the 5th inning. It's the top of the Houston order. Jose Altuve, who is 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of pop-ups. Takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Altuve at .312 with the average as he leads off the 5th. Hard hit. Elvis to his left, flags it down, spins, throws, and gets it.
Boy, such grace and making a play look easy. So relaxed. Just reach out, catch it, turn around, and toss it to first base.
Well, it's not like you're trying to throw out a guy that runs about a 7 flat down to first base. Now, Altuve can get down there in a hurry. Elvis, you're right, Tom, makes it look very, very easy.
Yep, and had ended up throwing him out by a couple of steps.
Now Springer lines one to right center. That is down, over to cut it off. Delino to Shields, he boots it. Springer is going into second, and he makes it with a slide. Delino didn't come up with it cleanly, and Springer, who made an aggressive turn at first, just kept on going.
It looked like Delino was going to get over in time to keep Springer from going to second base. Springer was pretty much planning on staying at first base until he saw that, and then he got into second base easily.
Well, that's going to be a single and an error on Delino to Shields. He's coming up gimpy.
Yeah, limping a little bit out there.
Here's Carlos Correa. 0-1. Correa tonight has doubled and grounded to short. 275 average for the 20-year-old shortstop. Loop down the right field line. It is slicing down the line and foul. And not foul by much. Now we'll reset and try it with an 0-2 count. Two feet, 2.5 feet. Enough, whatever it was.
Too close for comfort.
Yeah. Chris Jimenez out to say something quickly to Colby. Lewis tonight 70 pitches through the first 4 1/3 innings. .45 strikes, 25 balls. He's got Springer at second base with 1 out. The 0-2 pitch. Most home runs in the American League among rookies now. Carlos Correa leading the way with 18. Miguel Sano with Minnesota 16. Preston Tucker with the Astros with 13. One caveat for Correa, he's only been in the big league since 1st of June. And Sano had not been up for the entire year either. Elvis diving, he stops it. And now has no play, but he did save Springer going to third by that dive. It'll be an infield single for Correa. First and second with 1 out. And Colby Rasmus coming up.
Talking about rookie shortstops, the other rookie shortstop that got called up during the season was Francisco Lindor for Cleveland. And he doesn't have the 13 home runs, but he's hitting about .315 and playing some great shortstop himself. Don't hear as much about him, but he's kind of right in that rookie class too. Elvis just knows he doesn't have a play. He's just trying to smother that, keep men on first and second.
So Rasmus getting ready to step in. Left-handed hitting center fielder is struck out, popped out to short. Folks getting a little uneasy in their seats now. Rangers leading 3-2. The Astros making some noise. 2 on and 1 out here in the 5th. Just a bit outside and low for ball 1. Rasmus 5 out of 12 in this series. Brings in a 4-game hitting streak. Colby's 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Colby being careful with Rasmus. Rasmus a very good low fastball hitter. He's got the tying run at second, person of George Springer. Carlos Correa represents the go-ahead run at first base. 2-1 on the foul ball. Rasmus on this road trip. We talked about the last game of a 10-game road trip for the Astros. Rasmus has hit .391 with a home run and 2 RBI on this trip. Inside, 3 balls and a strike.
He laid off that one. Swung and missed it, one like it in the first inning. That might have been the exact same pitch in the first inning that he missed.
You're right. Well, Colby in a bit of a spot here. The 3-1 pitch. Full count. A 2 on and 1 out. A 3-2 count on Rasmus. He is the cleanup batter, and Jed Lowry will follow in the order. Crowd now starting to make some noise. Red's starting to get rowdy out here. Colby with a payoff pitch to Rasmus. Foul back. Everybody resets, and we will begin anew. Odor to second, back to first. In time, they got it.
What a beautiful double play.
That is as quickly as you will see a second baseman shortstop make a play like that. And the Rangers and Colby Lewis out of the inning on a great double play. Odor to Andrews to Moreland. Halfway through the ball game, Rangers 3, Astros 2. Garden Dome this season on Tuesday, September 29th. The first 15,000 fans will receive a U Darvish Gnome thanks to Nitto Tire USA Incorporated. Get to TexasRangers.com. Get your tickets for the last giveaway of the season. Delino to Shields. Going after the next pitch from McCullers and skies to center. Rasmus to his right makes the grab. Delino 0 for 3 as he makes a U-turn, heads back to the Ranger dugout, 1 away. We'll take you back to that inning-ending double play. Watch how quickly this is turned.
Yeah, when you have to go to your left like that, you don't think you're going to be able to get a pretty good runner and double him up at first base. But that was a perfect feed from Odor, and Elvis came across the bag in a way that the man on first was unable to break up that double play. Obviously, Correa was going into second base thinking, I got to break this double play up. Wasn't able to touch Elvis. He got through there so quickly.
Don't we normally see Elvis come across the bag toward the outfield part?
I thought he decided to go the other way too.
Yeah. And he came inside that time. That might have crossed Correa up. I don't know. But
Yeah, I think Elvis did sidestep him.
Well, what a great play, though, to get the ball where Odor got it and quickly get it to Andrus, who got off a quick throw. And all three runners on the were very quick on that. You know, Rasmus runs pretty well getting down the box.
Yeah, he does.
Chu is swinging a foul tip. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chu is singled twice. Elvis coming to the inside that time. Correa a little foot to the shin.
He got the foot to the shin, but Elvis's throw was already on its way to first base.
And Chu gone on strikes this time. That is out number 2, and all of a sudden Lance McCullers has retired 6 straight Rangers. And before Prince Fielder comes up one more time, let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. Some kind of reactions by Carlos Correa on that chopper that went off McCullers' glove, and he throws out Prince Fielder. 3 up, 3 down, 7 straight retired by the Astros. After 5, Rangers by 1. Now you can catch all of the action out here at Globe Life Park next season. Plus, if you place a deposit now, you can guarantee yourself a seat for any 2015 postseason games. Visit TexasRangers.com/seasons to place your deposit today. Jed Lowry starting off the Astros 6th inning. Rangers still leading 3-2. Lowry is singled and flied to left field. Colby Lewis with his 81st pitch of the night. And Lowry rips it to right. Chu moving to his right. Goes down to one knee and makes the catch.
Well, Chu seems like he has a lot of balls going through the lights. But he stayed with that one. Didn't shy away from it. Battled it. Made the catch about a foot off the ground. I'm assuming that's what happened. Maybe that's not the case. Does have a little look of fear on his eyes, though. Yeah. In his eyes. Oh, and he needed 2 hands to catch that one.
I wonder if that was a knuckleball.
There's, that's not a ball over his head, but there's one example where using that other hand helped.
You cradle that thing in there and keep it in the leather.
Yeah.
So 1 out, and Evan Gattis, who drove in the first Astros run with a double, takes strike 1 or ball 1. Gattis now 80 RBI this year. 1 out of 2 tonight. Colby drops in a breaking ball. 1-1. Colby on a rather warm night out here. It's about 88 degrees as we play here in the 6th inning. Kind of a humid evening. Swing and a miss by Gaddis. 1-2. Gaddis was 3 out of 4 last night with a home run. Well, in this series now, Kevin Gaddis is 6 for 14 or 15. Excuse me. Got him swinging.
Oh, good pitch.
Couple of pretty good sliders from Colby Lewis. Right-hander brings up his 3rd strikeout of the night.
Gaddis took a slider right down the middle for strike 1. Then he missed a fastball and set him up for a slider down and away. Colby threw that just where he wanted to throw it to Gaddis.
And Sam Freeman, Ranger left-hander, getting ready in the bullpen. 2 outs, bases empty. Preston Tucker was hit by a pitch last time up. Colby Lewis trying to throw that back foot slider and got a front knee slider instead. That put Tucker on first, and this time he got out in front of a breaking ball for the foul ball. Rangers again in the overshift on the infield. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rougned Odor having to give up smoke signals out there to let everybody know where he is. One and 2. I mentioned Colby using that slider a lot in the first couple of times around. Now the next time around, a few more fastballs, and he's getting some more swings like we just saw from Preston Tucker, a little behind him. 1-2 pitch. Ground ball. Elvis right there. On to first. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Colby Lewis and the Rangers. Crowd on their feet, applauding the veteran right-hander as he heads toward the Ranger dugout. 3-2 Rangers. The Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $300 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive. Make that $100. My mistake. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Noah Ballou from Arlington will win the $100. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Noah is going to win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Adrian Beltre leading things off. Lance McCullers missing down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Beltre, fielder's choice ground out and a strikeout. 0 for 2 tonight. Hitting at .270. Beltre rips it up the gap in left center field. One hop and off the wall. to second. Beltre puts on the speed brakes. A leadoff two-bagger for Beltre.
Well, with the defensive alignment, which was shading Adrian to right center field, there was no one out in left center field. That ball split the gap, and there was no one within 20 feet of it. Fastball inside part of the plate, and Adrian put a charge in it.
Well, a little more altitude, that thing's gone.
Just about exactly between the outfielders. Yeah, you're right, Buzz. Got it up in the air a little bit.
Well, Beltre with his first hit of the night. He is in second. Nobody away here in the 6th inning, and Mitch Moreland now will face McCullers. Moreland is struck out and then hit a 3-run home run to left field his last time up. The crowd once again coming to life after the Beltre double. 1 ball, no strikes. Remember, Mitch worked the count full his last time up and got a pitch on the outer part of the plate and just drove it. A rope that got out of here just to the left of the 390 sign. Adrian in lead from second. And Mitch fly ball to pretty deep left field. Tucker is back at the wall, makes the catch. Beltre tagging. He's going to try to advance the throw, and Beltre makes it.
Adrian went back to tag. Then he saw Tucker going back after the ball. Wasn't sure whether he was going to catch it. Took a couple of steps off second. Had to go back and tag second. And then with a head-first dive, got that all-important extra base to stay at third, to get to third base with only 1 out.
It didn't look like Tucker, after he caught the ball, was thinking that Beltre might try and go. He was back up against the screen out there in front of the out-of-town scoreboard.
Well, Mitch gave another one a ride to left field. It almost got a couple feet more. It would have been up on the side of the wall. Fortunately, the throw is a little bit offline. And Adrian is able to get in.
Brett Strom, the Astros pitching coach, out there to have a conference on the mound. The entire infield, plus the battery of McCullers and Castro. Double-barreled action in the Astros bullpen. Keone Kela had been up and throwing in the Ranger bullpen. The Rangers leading 3-2. They have a very important run at third base with 1 out. Beltre 90 feet away from home. Mike Napoli in the batter's box. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Napoli has singled and popped out. And here we go. Napoli. Two balls, no strikes. Now the sea of red is rising here in Arlington. They are cheering on Mike Napoli and the Rangers. Lance McCullers trying to work around a Beltre double. Nap had one to work with.
He did.
Probably a little bit too high. Hung up at the top of the strike zone. Now I take that back.
Yeah, that's one that you got a pretty good, if you make contact, you got a pretty good chance to hit it in the air.
Yep.
And that's what Knapp's looking to do. Outfield around toward right, not that deep in right field.
On the inside corner. Tough pitch right there.
That is a tough pitch.
Tony Randazzo making the call, and the count's 2-2.
That's about the toughest strike you can have right there. Top of the strike zone, inside corner.
There we go. Now we got it. 2-2 pitch. Down away. Infield in at the cut of the grass at all 4 positions. Adrian Beltre getting his lead from third. Napoli in the box, ready to go. Another 2-2. Breaking ball is hammered to left. Down the line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul.
Wow. Got the hanger again and just pulled it foul. You have to think twice about throwing another curveball right here.
Knapp could not have missed that by more than a foot. If that.
Well, that's about what it is.
Jason Castro, the catcher, went out there to talk to McCullers and said, okay, that's our quota of hanging curveballs. Let's not throw one more. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Beltre down the line from third. Brown getting into it now. Another 2-2. Foul back.
McCullers has a lot of competitiveness and great stuff. He's only 21 years old. He's out there battling in a pennant race, boy. He's not backing down.
Nope.
Giving it everything he's got out there, and so is Knapp. Great battle.
Beltre began the inning by doubling to left. Advanced on a long flyout by Mitch Moreland. He's at third with 1 out. Got him swinging. McCullers a little extra that time at 96. A big strikeout, 2 away. And Rougned Odor will come up.
That's just rearing back and throwing it as hard as you can and say, here it is if you can hit it. Same pitch before it. Knapp fouled off. That one couldn't quite make contact. That was a good battle. Knapp missed a 2-run homer by 8 inches.
Well, now, with a runner at third and 2 outs, they're going to intentionally walk Rougned Odor. And understandably so, Odor has just lit up the Astros in his brief major league career. Well, they're going to intentionally walk Rougned to work to Elvis Andrus. A.J. Hinch saying, look, I want nothing to do with Odor. Odor has 5 home runs and 20 RBI in his career against the Astros. His last 8 games, he's hit .455. And the 4th wide one, we'll let Rougned walk on down to first. No, it sets it up for the Rangers now for Elvis to come to bat with runners at first and third. Andrus, a strikeout and a ground ball to short tonight. Elvis 7 for his last 21 times to the plate after he snapped an 0 for 22 drought. But 0 for 2 tonight, so he's due. Average at 257, the RBI total at 55 for Elvis. McCullers to the plate, gets the call for strike 1. Outfield playing very shallow and right. Springer in, as we had seen before from the Astros in this series. Elvis up there. Rasmus over in the gap in right center. A ball to left center will roll for days. 0-1 as McCullers sets. Now 0-2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Rangers with runners at first and third. They lead 3-2. Boy, they could sure use some insurance right here. Elvis this year with runners in scoring position. A .238 hitter. Laid off that sweeping breaking ball. 1-2. Beltre at third, Odor at first. McCullers reading the signs from Castro. Ellis did a pretty good job just to get a piece of that pitch.
That was a good curveball. Well, this is the last batter for McCullers, one way or the other. 98 pitches.
Saw Beltre at 30, began the inning by doubling. Got to third on the fly ball by Moreland. Odor was intentionally walked. Now Elvis awaiting another 1-2. Ground ball to short. Flip to second, and that will do it. Well, the Rangers can't do anything with the leadoff Beltre double. They strand a pair. We'll go to the 7th inning at Globe Life Park in Arlington. 3-2 Rangers. Mitch Moreland got the Rangers on the board, his 21st home run of the year in the 3rd inning, a 3-run bomb. Astros came back, though. Evan Gattis with the double over Napoli's head scored the run, made it 3-1. And then Luis Valbuena, a little looping drive to shallow center, brought home Gattis with the 2nd run. That has been the sum total of the scoring tonight, with the Rangers leading 3-2 as we go to the 7th inning. And Keone Kela has come in out of the Ranger bullpen to take over. Colby Lewis worked the first 6. He turns it over now to Keone Kela, his 64th appearance of the year. A .234 opponent's batting average, and the first pitch to Valbuena is strike 1 on the appeal.
Valbuena didn't like the call.
Will Venable in left field now, taking the place of Mike Napoli. Now, Keone Kela, we saw on Monday night here, picked up the win in that Ranger late game victory. To center field, and Delano DeShields plays it on a hop. Valbuena has a leadoff single.
He had a high changeup. He only hasn't been throwing the changeup quite as much as his curveball. They're going mostly fastball, curveball. But that's a belt high out over the plate changeup, and Valbuena is able to hit the center field for a base hit.
Well, that is the 8th hit for the Astros, and Jonathan Villar will come on as a pinch runner for Valbuena. So Villar on to take over. Villar with very good speed, and he represents the tying run here in the 7th inning. So 1 on, nobody out. Jason Castro, the catcher. 1 out of 2 tonight. Rangers not looking for the bunt from Castro. And Kela misses outside for ball 1. Castro had a single in the 3rd inning, and then in the 4th grounded to second. Average at 221. Rangers shading him maybe a step to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kellen has really been lights out since coming back from his time off at Double-A. Came back the 11th of August. He has not given up a run. Better than a month worth of work. 2-1 the count. This is his 15th appearance since coming back to the big leagues. Keller, the 22-year-old, sets and misses outside. 3-1. Castro batting in the 9th position. Following him in the order, back to the top for Jose Altuve. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. That is ball 4. And there are 2 on with nobody out.
Could have gone either way for sure.
Well, Mike Maddox going to go out and talk to Keone. Gella in those 14 appearances, or 15 appearances now, had only walked 2. He's walked a very important one here. He has runners at first and second and nobody out in a 3-2 ball game in the 7th. Mike Maddox out there probably ordering up that double play. And while we have a second here, this is going to go on. We will tell you, though, a lot of college football coming up on Saturday. It all starts at Fox Sports 1. 10:30 a.m. Tulsa in Oklahoma. Then at 2:30 it's UT San Antonio and Oklahoma State. Both those on Fox Sports 1. Then on Fox at 6 it's Cal and Texas. And then at 9:30 that night BYU and UCLA on Fox Sports 1. Set to go now. Altuve 0 for 3 tonight. Rangers in at the corners. Beltre and Moreland sneaking down toward the plate. And Altuve, not thinking about bunting, fouls it off.
Yeah, in this kind of a situation, at least in this series, we've seen Altuve significantly expand the strike zone when there's men in scoring position. The other night he swung in 1 at bat. 3 or 4 pitches that were at least 8 inches out of the strike zone. That pitch, after a walk, was not a strike.
Gella's next pitch. Altuve around a bunt. And takes it low. 1-1. Altuve out checking with Gary Pettis, the third base coach. Relaying the skipper A.J. Hinch's wishes to him. Got Villar at second, Castro at first. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th inning. To Beltre, steps on third, across the first to double play. Two huge outs here in the 7th.
One of the keys to this series has been the Rangers' ability to contain Altuve. And there it is again, first and second, nobody out. Maybe it's a bunt situation, maybe it's not. Adrian was playing for the bunt. He was way in at third base. Catches it on 1 hop and turns a double play.
Never a doubt from Adrian what he was going to do. And now we got a pitch runner out at second base for Jason Castro. Jake Marisnik, who has great speed, has come off the bench. He's going to run for Castro. Marisnik now carrying the tying run out at second, but there are 2 outs. Keone Kellen facing George Springer. Springer has singled in 3 trips tonight. Kellen drops in that breaking ball for strike 1, and that is a huge pitch to be able to throw for a strike.
I don't think you're going to see the changeup again in this inning.
Springer at .259 season average. Kella, another breaking ball.
Might see the hook though.
Nothing in 2.
Oh, you talk about locating 2 pitches perfectly. Springer felt they were low, but the Fox box showed they were right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Another crimson crescendo rising. 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Oh, foul tip. I got a little excited too.
Nothing wrong with that. Boy, he's throwing 3 good curveballs right where he wanted them. Springer lunged at it and made a little bit of contact with it.
Now we'll reset. Fans up. They are applauding in support of their hometown Rangers and Keone Kellen. Marisnik, the tying run at second base. Jimenez the signs. Keller ready. Another 0-2. Got him swinging that time. Keller, 3 breaking balls and a high heater. Springer is gone. So are the Astros. No runs, a hit, and 1 left. Will take the stretch with the Rangers up by 1. Tonight for our T-Mobile strongest fan of the night, and our picture comes to us from Don. Don, thank you very much, along with our own John Radigan. Great picture. And if you folks would like to submit your photos, just use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan, and your photo might be selected, just like Don's was tonight, showing up on one of our broadcasts. Again, the good folks at T-Mobile make all this possible. Well, Josh Fields has entered the ballgame now to take over in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, Lance McCullers worked 6 very good innings tonight. Held the Rangers to 3 runs on 5 hits. He gives way to Josh Fields, and Chris Jimenez leads off the Rangers' 7th inning. Chris Carter has entered the ballgame to take over at first base. And a new catcher, Hank Conger, back there in place of Jason Castro. Chris Jimenez swinging a high fastball, didn't quite get it. Saw Josh Fields earlier in this series. One pitch, foul back. Fields worked here on Tuesday night. Worked an inning, gave up just a hit. Rangers did not score against him. Fields recalled from Double-A Corpus Christi when the rosters expanded. Pulled on the hole, through for a base hit.
Doing a bunch of fastballs, high fastballs, hung a breaking ball, and Chris with 2 strikes hit it into left field for a leadoff single.
Well, the Rangers get their leadoff man aboard. How about our AT&T U-verse rewind? We're going to show you some defense. 5th inning behind Colby Lewis. Sharply hit ground ball that Odor has to go to his left. Feeds Elvis and then back for the double play that ended that inning. Then in the 7th, Altuve to Beltre to Moreland. Across the diamond, and then Pella doing it himself, going up the ladder with that heater for the strikeout.
Boy, Keone came back, 2 men on, nobody out. Made a great pitch to Altuve, curveball down, and then a high fastball. Pitched his way out of a big-time jam.
And the Rangers are going to go to a pitch runner of their own. Drew Stubbs has come into the game to take over for Chris Jimenez at first. Stubbs, who scored the winning run, the walk-off victory here on Tuesday night. Taking over for Jimenez at first with nobody out. And Delino to Shields, you saw, showing bunt and almost walked right into that fastball. Delino 0 for 3 tonight, although he's hit the ball very sharply. It's a bunt. It's going to be a tough play. Fields throws and just does get him.
Boy, he made a nice comeback. It looked like once that ball stayed down that he was not going to be able to get Delino. Delino's still limping a little bit back to the dugout. I don't know if that cost him a step going down the first base line or not. He's not feeling 100%. But Fields, when this ball stays down right here, makes a nice comeback and a nice throw to just get that play at first base.
So 1-4 on the sacrifice, and that's going to do it for Josh Fields as A.J. Hinch is out there to take the ball from his right-hander. You've got Chu and Fielder coming up from the left side, and it looks like Tony Sipp, a matchup we have seen before in this series, will head on in. So 1 on and 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. We'll take a timeout for this pitching change. We're back to Globe Life Park right after this. The Rangers, they lead 3-2. We got Drew Stubbs out at second base. Tony Sipp has come in. He sets up a rematch. He came in Tuesday night to face Shin-Soo Choo. That was in the 6th inning. He got Choo to line to center field. Choo tonight is 2 for 3. Sipp, the 32-year-old left-hander, with the first pitch in for strike one. 54th appearance of the year for Sipp. 2-4, a very good ERA of 2.08 in the league, hitting just 2.08 against him. 13 walks, 52 strikeouts, and just less than 48 innings of work. Now the Rangers trying to add on to their 3-2 lead. Drew Stubbs, the pinch runner, out at second base. Carlos Correa right behind him. Stubbs going to third. The pitch is a ball, no throw. Stubbs swiping third base uncontested.
Well, Ranger fans don't know Drew that well, but he's had years where he's stolen over 40 bases. He's got excellent speed. He's a great athlete, and he knows how to steal a base. He took advantage of a new pitcher in the ball game. Got a huge jump, even with a left-hand hitter up there. No throw to third base. See how quickly he accelerates.
Conger could not have thrown him out with Pudge's arm.
No.
So now the infield all the way in. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. And Choo fouls it off to the left. 1-2. Both of Choo's singles tonight were solid line drives to left and left center. They both came against Lance McCullers. Now facing the left-hander Tony Sipp. Infield, as you can see, pulled all the way in. All 4 infielders right at the cut of the grass. Drew Stubbs, the runner at third. Fans a little upset about slowing things down here. Now Sipp leaning in for the sign. Choo is waiting. The 1-2 is coming. Outside, it gets away. Here comes Stubbs. He will score. And the Rangers lead it 4-2. No substitute for speed on the base pass. Stubbs swiping third and scoring on the wild pitch.
You also can't underestimate the importance of all the little changes the Rangers made to the roster at the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, to add the little pieces that it takes to help you win a ball game. And this is a perfect example. Drew Stubbs goes into pinch run, steals third, and scores on a wild pitch. Rangers get a huge insurance run.
Choo flicks that one out of play. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Conger was motioning. He wanted that pitch down from Sipp. Said throw it down here, and he got just what he wanted.
He didn't want it that far down.
No. Conger not able to get his upper body out in front of that. Glanced off to the side. The Rangers benefit. Now have a 2-run lead. Line drive, base hit for Choo. Well, 2 to left, 1 to right. He is 3 for 4.
In both, you talked about him earlier, Buzz. When the ball's outside, he lines it into left field. That pitch looked like a fastball in. And it's another example of how much better Choo is playing right now than in April. Man, he is playing some kind of ball right now. That pitch was a pretty good fastball from a left-hand pitcher inside corner. He just ripped it over second into right field for a base hit.
Again, pitching coach Brent Strom out there to talk to Sipp. Yeah, he doesn't even resemble the same hitter, the same player that we saw back in April and even May when he started to heat up a little bit. But he is just doing so many things. Talking about Shin-Soo Choo. Every phase of his game has improved.
Well, he talked about a conversation around the All-Star break, I think it was, that he had with his wife, where she basically, I'll paraphrase, said, relax, have confidence and belief that you're a good player. Don't worry about the weight of your country hanging on your shoulders. Just go out and be yourself. And boy, since that point in time, a relaxed Shin-Soo Choo has been one of the key reasons the Rangers have played such great baseball.
Yeah, he is on first now, and another pretty big reason the Rangers have done well lately. Prince Fielder at the plate. And that's out of play to the left.
I guess that, we were talking about that yesterday with Mac. That's one of the reasons, the reason the Rangers have played so well is because it's been such a team effort. We're talking about Chu, you're talking about Fielder, and you can add, everybody else that's in a uniform, because at some point in time, they've contributed. This game's a perfect example. Drew Stubbs comes in for 5 minutes. Pinch run, steals third, scores on a wild pitch for the 4th run of the game.
Now Sip will drive Chu back. Fielder tonight is 0 for 1. He has walked a couple of times. Grounded out his last time up. No luck so far against Tony Sip in his career, 0 for 6.
And over the last 5 or 6 years, every time the Rangers have had a chance, they've added every possible piece they could think of to cover all the bases for the players you might need in a pennant race.
Yep.
Stubbs is a perfect example of it. We talked a lot about the relief pitchers acquired at the trade deadline, but been a number of other little moves that have paid nice dividends. Here's Drew.
Well, the thing about it too, Tom, you put the people in the place that you think can do it, then they have to go out and do it. You see moves.
They still have to do it.
Yeah, and you see moves sometimes that you say, well, yeah, that looked like a good move, but it didn't pay off because the guy didn't play the way you thought he would. Rangers have hit this year anyway, the last month and a half, on just about everybody they've put into a position where they could succeed. They have succeeded.
Yeah, and Drew is 0 for 11 swinging the bat, which, he's in a tough role. He's not playing all the time, but still, you can go 0 for 11 and still have attributes that can help a team win a ball game, and his speed is a perfect example.
Now Sip pulling the string. He gets Fielder for the strikeout. There are now 2 gone, and Adrian Beltre coming up.
Pretty good changeup. Down and in. Good movement on it. Good speed. Good location.
Well, Beltre had the double leading off the 6th inning. Got as far as 3rd, but Rangers couldn't plate him. He's up there now with an opportunity to bring Chu around from first. Sip's first pitch. Off speed and right at the bottom of the strike zone. Adrian, a .272 average as he faces Sip. Left-hander, a long look at first. Nothing in 2. Sam Dyson in the Ranger bullpen. Looks like he will be the Ranger hurler for the top of the 8th inning. The 0-2. Adrian Beltre, 1 out of 7 in his career against Tony Sip. That one was a double. Tony Sip, a 32-year-old from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Left-hander toiled for 4 years in Cleveland. Mainstay of the Indian bullpen, went to Arizona for 1 year and then came over to the Astros last year. A big part of the Astros resurgence. 1-2 pitch. To right center field. That is up the alley. Long run for Springer. Back and makes the catch and dropped it. It's out of his glove. Here comes Chu. He will score. Beltre to second. A double brings home Chu from first. The Rangers lead it 5-2.
I'm kidding. I almost opened my mouth and said, I can't believe he's done it again. That guy's made 3 or 4 spectacular catches against the Rangers, and I thought he made another one.
I did too. I'm pretty sure, I don't trust my eyes anymore, but I'm pretty sure he had that in his glove momentarily.
I never saw the ball. I just thought it stayed in his glove. Let's see. He did. He had it right in there. He snow coned it right in the tip of his glove. And it just didn't stay in there. Boy, what a catch that would have been.
No, RBI double for Beltre, his second double of the night. And the Rangers have added on. They now lead it 5-2. And Mitch Moreland against Zip fouls the first pitch off. Well, Beltre, another RBI, and a key one at that. And speaking of key RBIs, how about Mitch's 3-run home run back in the third inning?
I'd call that a key. Now, Buzz, we've been talking about Adrian and Fielder, the middle of the order, and what they've done in this series. They came into the game 19 for 36, hitting over 500 with, who knows, in their, not just this series, but the game before it, in their 4-game winning streak. With home runs, RBIs, runs scored, and they're doing it again tonight.
0-2 to Moreland. Yeah, unfortunately tonight they're 2 for 6.
Yeah, it's dropped their average a little bit.
But they've scored a run, so they dropped the average down to normal.
In the 4-game win streak coming into the game, they had 5 home runs. Each one of them had a 2-home-run game. 16 runs batted in, and they'd scored 15 runs. And Prince has walked a couple and scored. Adrian's hit a couple of doubles and knocked one in. So they continue to do it in the middle of the order.
Zip's 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Well, Moreland gone, so are the Rangers, but 2 huge runs in the inning. You get 2 runs on 3 hits and lead one. 8th inning coming up. Rangers by 3.
Night for Shirley. Shirley coaching, a long-time season ticket holder, also known as the Cookie Lady. She doesn't know we're coming. We're coming right now, Shirley. Shirley, we understand big night, 55th wedding anniversary, right? Where's your husband, Cal?
He's over in 4647.
He's been ushering here for 21 years, right?
Something like that.
All right, well, good. You think he's over there, right? Well, no, he's right here, Cal. Come on in, Cal. You got something to present to her, right?
Happy anniversary. I love you.
That's a progressive fan of the game bag, Shirley.
Right. Thank you.
Give me a secret, Cal. How do you stay married for 55 years?
3 or 4 weeks in Surprise, Arizona every year, and every baseball game here at Globe Live.
That's a good secret. All right, have a cookie. Yeah, got a cookie. Thanks, Shirley. Cookie Lady, 55 years of being married. Congratulations, guys. Way to go. All right, appreciate it. Tom,
very
Buzz,
good.
I'll bring one up for you.
All right. Yeah, very good, Noxie. That's great. First ball swinging, and Carlos Correa grounds out to his counterpart, and Sam Dyson right back to where you would expect him. 1 pitch, 1 ground ball.
You know, they go to Surprise every year for spring training, and they stay 4, 5, 6 weeks sometimes. I end up staying at the same hotel that they stay at, so I see them every day. They just love going out to the ballpark, watching the games, watching practice, and then coming to every single game. Cal, as Moxie just said, has been an usher here forever. And Shirley she comes to every game and never fails to bring at least 1 box of cookies.
Now, when you're out there in the same hotel, are you getting cookies from her every day?
No,
Is she making cookies?
not every day, but occasionally she'll make them. She has been known to bring them on the road too. That's why she is the cookie lady.
Yeah. Rasmus takes that pitch inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Defensively now, Rangers lining up a little bit differently. Bobby Wilson has come into the game. He's catching now for Sam Dyson. And in center field, Drew Stubbs gives Delino to Shields the rest of the night off. Rasmus, a foul tip. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Colby Rasmus tonight has grounded out, popped out, and struck out. Sam Dyson, as you saw, appearing in his 22nd ball game, a 1.66 ERA. League hitting just .241 against him. 1-2 pitch.
One thing we'll have to keep an eye on, Buzz, is Delino. There's been several times in the game where we've noticed him favoring his leg. And you'd have to think if he came out at this stage of the game, that might have been a contributing factor.
Well, you remember that left knee that he kind of came up lame on in Seattle. And let's hope it's not more than just a little soreness. And that 1 ball he tried to cut off in the gap over there, he came up limping a bit.
Yeah, that's when I noticed it.
But he's not. The good news is he's not down in the training room.
No, he doesn't have a trainer, doesn't have ice. So maybe it's just precautionary. And Drew Stubbs is a terrific center fielder.
2-2 to Rasmus. Got him swinging.
Way off. 89 miles an hour instead of 97 miles an hour.
2 gone.
That looked like Sam Dyson's brother.
I mean, Sam Dyson look-alike in the blue shirt.
There he is.
There he is.
It's his brother.
Either that or Bobby Wilson.
Yeah, it's a cross between Sam and Bobby.
Well, you got the battery working on the field, and the guy in the stands is a duplicate. Jed Lowry takes a strike on the outside corner. Lowry tonight is 1 for 3.
That's playable.
What do they say? Separated at birth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you put Bobby on the other side, you'd see exactly what we're talking about.
Rugnet, 2-hopper. Very quick and easy 1-2-3 inning for Sam Dyson. 2 ground balls, a punch out. The Astros are gone in the 8th. After 7.5, the Rangers lead it 5-2.
The Rangers hanging on to a 5-2 lead over the Houston Astros. This concludes a 4-game series against the Stros. Up next, it is the Seattle Mariners making their way to Globe Life Park in Arlington. Things get underway tomorrow here on Fox Sports Southwest. There you see Kyle Seager, a thorn in the side of the Rangers for quite some time, and his .344 average coming to town. And then Adrian Beltre, of course, equally as hot in his last 6 games. A 3-game set between the M's and the Rangers beginning tomorrow. Thanks to the folks at AT&T U-verse for getting us ready for the opener of a 3-gamer, guys.
All right, Emily, thank you very much. Well, Go Venable leading things off, and Oliver Perez, the veteran left-hander, has come into the ballgame to take over for the Astros. Perez, the oft-used left-hander, came over from the Arizona Diamondbacks to Houston. August the 7th, the trade was consummated. Venable, his first at-bats, is taking over for Mike Napoli in the 6th inning. 205 the average for Will in a Ranger uniform. Hit .253 with the Padres. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Sean Tolleson getting loose in that Ranger bullpen. A 3-run Ranger advantage as Tolleson goes to work getting loose. Up the middle. Nice play by Correa to throw out Venable. Correa playing on the first base side of second, had to go back and to his right and made a nice off-balance throw for out number 1. Well, folks, this Saturday, which is September the 19th, Budweiser presents Pat Green in a post-game concert that's sure to rock the ballpark. Plus, passes are available to watch the concert from the best seat in the house. That's right down on the field. Get to TexasRangers.com/concerts to get your tickets to see the Rangers take on the Mariners and a field pass for the Pat Green postgame show. Rougned Odor, 0 for 2 tonight. He was intentionally walked in the 6th inning. Takes a strike from Perez. Odor, a .275 average. Rangers 5 runs on 8 hits tonight. Astros 2 runs on 8 hits. Not real thrilled right about now with Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire. Down on the count, 0-2. Perez back to the plate. Tried the breaking ball. Couldn't quite get it to come in. Rougned has had a fly ball to center, a ground ball to first. Shoots that one foul, back of Tony Beasley down there at third. Nice play by the ball girl down there. Played the Karen perfectly, went down to one knee, blocked it. They ought to have a league-wide competition for the ball girls.
Yeah, they could have it for second place because ours are guaranteed first, based on what we've seen anyway.
That one's poked out of play by Odor. Still 1-2. Well, I know that maybe fielding there might be some competition, but not throwing.
No,
I've seen him out there warming up.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names, but over the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a couple of players that might have been outthrown by the ball girls.
Got him swinging. Odor, a little tardy on the fastball, and Perez has the first 2 outs. Now Elvis Andrus coming up. Well, DirecTV is going to catch you up on the American League West as it stands right now. Rangers 78-67, a game-and-a-half advantage over the Astros, and you can do the math. Rangers go to 79-67 with 3 more outs of the Astros. That jumps up to 2.5 games, and you kind of like that, going down with 16 ball games after tonight left in the season. Rangers still have 3 more games to play with the Astros down at Minute Maid in a week.
And the other thing, Buzz, if the Angels beat Minnesota tonight, they'll be only a game behind Minnesota.
The Angels will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Minnesota, they'll only be a couple of games behind Houston.
Yeah, they were a game and a half, I think, coming in today. The Twins.
Behind Houston?
Yeah.
So that'll stay the same, and the Angels will move up a game on both of them.
Getting very interesting.
One thing, though, one of the games the Astros won on this road trip, they scored 5 in the ninth to beat the Angels. So,
that's right.
You know, we're talking about this game. There's still a lot of baseball left to be played. Feels good right now, but let's get those last 3 outs.
Elvis jumping back in with a 2-2 count. Here's the wild card as it stands right now. The Yankees, of course, have that 3.5 game lead over second place. And Houston right now, that game and a half over Minnesota. And then the Angels. 3-2 to Elvis. Well, Elvis trying to get aboard here with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Drew Stubbs waits in the on-deck circle. Perez with the payoff pitch. We'll reload and try it again. Elvis, a couple of ground outs and a strikeout tonight. Again, playing very, very solid defense, though. A couple of marvelous plays at short, including a double play. Way inside, he draws a walk. Well, Perez with the walk, and that apparently is going to be the last hitter that he is asked to face, is A.J. Hinch striding purposely out to the mound. Well, the left-hander surrenders the baseball to the skipper, and he is departing for the dugout and in the clubhouse. A pitching change again here at Globe Life Park. 1 on and 2 out in the 8th. Rangers leading 5-2. We'll be back right after this timeout on Fox Sports Southwest. College football at 2 p.m. Louisiana Tech at Kansas State, and then at 7 it's SMU at TCU. That's on Fox Sports Southwest for you this coming Saturday. Now the new pitcher for the Astros is Vincent Velasquez, the 22-year-old right-hander. He is a Southern California product. He was a second-round pick of the Astros back in 2010 out of high school. He is on now to face Drew Stubbs. Elvis Andrus at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Velasquez appearing in his 16th ball game at the big league level this year. There goes Elvis. The pitch is inside, and Elvis swipes second base. And something that Elvis has gotten going more lately is A.J. Hitch very stoically watching the goings-on at Globe Life Park. 19th stolen base of the year for Andrews. Anything that reminds Elvis of the Angels, and certainly Hank Conger behind the plate reminds him of the Angels, he's running. One ball, no strikes to Stubbs. Now 2-0. Last time Velasquez was on the hill was in the previous series for the Astros against the Angels. He worked on Saturday, worked an inning in relief. Deals a strike to Stubbs. It's 2-1. Velasquez, a 6'3" right-hander, goes about 205 pounds. Stubbs, very tall and wiry Longhorn X. 2-2. Very, very athletic, Drew Stubbs. Well, he runs like the wind and throws well. Very good outfielder. And the swing and a miss that you just saw, that's been his major problem throughout his career. Contact has been fleeting for him. Three and two. But Stubbs keeps this inning alive. Bobby Wilson, the new Ranger catcher, would get an opportunity to bat here in the 8th inning. Andrews the lead from second. The payoff pitch. Elvis going to third. The throw is not in time. He swipes third on the walk to Stubbs. Steals for the Rangers shortstop.
Oh, new pitcher, big jump. Elvis steals third. Better off being there with 2 outs than you are at second. Not quite the same benefit when there's less than 2 outs. But we've already seen a run score on a wild pitch, so definitely shows that it pays to be at third base.
Now, Bobby Wilson, his first at bat of the night, hit his first home run last night since 2012. Speaking of the Angels, Bobby was with the Angels at that time. Overall this season, a 192 average. Velasquez, and he will drive Stubbs back. Just a note on Elvis's 20 stolen bases, reaching that mark at 7 consecutive seasons now. Elvis's 7 seasons in the big leagues, he's had at least 20 steals in every season. It's an ongoing Ranger record. And you might see Drew Stubbs try and swipe his second base of the night. He had a critical stolen base when he came on as a pinch runner in the 7th inning. He swiped third and then scored on the wild pitch. Tom, there's what you were just talking about being at third and having a chance to score on the wild pitch. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes. The Rangers have used a little bit of everything tonight. They had the 3-run home run from Mitch Moreland. They had Adrian Beltre gapping a double to right center for an RBI. Manufacturing a run with Stubbs. Stolen base wild pitch. Line drive down the left field line. It is headed for extra bases. Elvis scores. Stopping at third is Stubbs. Bobby Wilson, an RBI two-bagger. It is 6-2 Rangers.
Bobby Wilson swing. They keep talking about the catchers. Their main goal is to catch and handle the pitching staff, and they keep chipping in with their offense. Bobby had a home run the other night, and now an RBI double. Doing the job they're supposed to do, handling the staff and catching, and then chipping in here and there with some solid base hits and some big runs.
Well, second and third now. 2 runs across here, or 1 run across, I should say, in the Ranger 8th inning. They lead by 4. It is 6-2, and Shin-Soo Choo being serenaded, a cascading chorus of chews as he takes a little bit low for ball 1. Here's Bobby Wilson's at bat. See in the background, guys jumping all over the Ranger bench. They are as high as you can possibly be about how things have gone in this series. Choo drops a base hit to right center. That'll score 2 runs. Stubbs scores. Bobby Wilson scores. Choo with his 4th hit of the night. The Rangers lead it 8-2. Globe Life Park is going crazy with the red.
Well, we keep talking about Choo. First it was he got 200, and then he's gone up steadily. Came into this game, finally got over 260, and with 4 hits in the game, now he's going to be knocking on the door of 270. On base percentage keeps going up. He got on base a bunch of times last night, got it up to 360. He'll be up around 368, 366, something like that after tonight's game. What a job he's doing, that second hole in the lineup.
Ranger bench. They are excited, and you can understand why. Red hot Rangers indeed. That's Choo's second 4-hit game of the year. The other was the cycle that he had up in Denver, up at Coors Field against the Rockies.
Well, these runs have come so quickly. It's gone from a save opportunity to a 6-run lead. It's almost too late to get someone else warmed up in the bullpen. Looks like Danny's just going to go with Sean Tolleson. He's warmed up and ready to come in, and rather than get someone up, make his heart start pounding and bring him in when he might not be quite warmed up. Oh, take that back. It's Ollendorf up.
Yeah, cagey veteran can get loose pretty fast.
Man, I tell you. I'm watching the run score instead of the bullpen. Sorry about that.
0-1 to Prince. Just jammed with that fastball, and now he's down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Fielder tonight 0 for 2, although he has walked twice and scored a run. Rangers now 8 runs on 10 hits tonight. And they have done some damage here late. 2 in the 7th, 3 here in the 8th. And Fielder trying to produce more. Well, he's getting jammed pretty consistently by Velasquez, but fighting him off foul. Fielder hitting at .313 as he faces the 23-year-old right-hander. The set and the 0-2. Got him swinging. Well, that puts an end to it, but the Rangers add on 3 runs. And 3 runs on 2 hits and lead 1. We're going to the 9th. It's the Rangers 8 and the Astros 2.
New lead as we head to the 9th inning and get ready to celebrate a sweep. We hope the Rangers on the verge of a sweep of the Houston Astros, on the verge of a 2.5 game lead in the American League West. Lots to celebrate after this one. Plus, who's going to get dumped on with water? It's all coming up immediately following the game. It's Rangers Live. Mike Bassick's here. Pudge Rodriguez is here. We'll have Emily working the clubhouse. Noxie on the field as well. It's all coming up. Rangers Live immediately following the game, guys.
All right, John, thank you. Yes, indeed, the brooms are out. Ranger fans sweep the Astros, a common theme along with the red out. Ross Ollendorf goes to work here in the 9th inning, and Evan Gattis, who hit a home run by doing half that last night. This time both hands came off the bat at the same time.
Well, thankfully that went toward the screen, got knocked down.
Now, Ross Ollendorf, the 33-year-old veteran, see, Gattis had his bottom hand come off right last night, right?
Yeah.
Kept held on with the top hand and it resulted in a home run.
Yeah.
It's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ollendorf, his 14th appearance. This is his second stint with the Rangers this year. 2-0 with a 2.25 ERA. League hitting just 190 against him. 1-2 to Gattis. For Ollendorf, his 6th appearance since coming back to the Rangers on the 1st of September when the rosters expanded. Ross has allowed just 1 hit in the 5 previous outings since September 1st. 1 hit in 4 1/3 innings. 1-2 pitch to Gattis. Beltre. 1 gone. Now Preston Tucker will come up. And Beltre a solid night, a couple of doubles, and the sweep chant is going. Brooms out all over Globe Life Park. Even the brooms are red. Tucker 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. Rangers 8 runs on 10 hits, 1 error tonight. Astros 2 runs on 8 hits and no errors. Breaking ball from Ollendorf settles in. 0-2. It's been Colby Lewis for 6, Keone Kela for 1, Sam Dyson for 1, and now Ross Ollendorf. And the Astros a little bit demoralized, I would say that look would render. There's strike 3 as Ollendorf gets the punch out. That is out number 2.
Yeah, good stuff from Ross tonight. 94-mile-an-hour fastball and a good overhand hook.
Well, the Rangers right on the doorstep. Chris Carter, for his first at bat of the night, a 183 average. Line drive to right, that's going to settle in for a base hit. Well, Carter prolongs the 9th inning as he singles to right. And Hank Conger will step in against Ollendorf. Conger, the switch hitting catcher, up there from the left side. Inside for ball 1. Conger batting at .221, 11 home runs and 33 RBI. Crowd on their feet at Globe Life Park. A check swing roller back to the mound. Ollendorf to Moreland. That is a winner. And the Rangers lead by 2.5 games in the American League West as they sweep the Houston Astros in 4 straight. Colby Lewis turns in another great performance tonight, and again the Ranger bats come up huge in this ballgame. Mitch Moreland, a 3-run home run in the 3rd, and then the Rangers scored late. They added 5 runs in the 7th and 8th innings to salt this one away, as the Astros had made it a 1-run game in the middle part of the game. But the Rangers put it away with 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, go on to win 8-2, and the Rangers now 2.5 games ahead of the Houston Astros, with the Rangers' magic number reduced to 14 for the West. And Jeff Bannister giving congratulatory handshakes to everybody in that line for the Rangers. What a great series for the Rangers, and what a great series for the fans here in Arlington. Ranger fans coming out, getting walk-up tickets. 7,000 last night, almost an equal number here tonight. And it was a great turnout. They saw some great baseball. Let's go down to the field and get to Emily Jones takes. She's standing by with Mitch Moreland.
Thank you very much, Mitch. A sweep of the Astros has got to feel pretty good right about now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's everything we were trying to do, you know, come in here and make a statement, and had the fans behind us. It's been a blast. So.
A little something different.
Mixing it up a little bit, aren't they? Mitch, for you, down the back. Seems like every time Colby Lewis starts, you seem to hit a home run. Something going on there between the two of you.
Yeah, I wish you'd throw every day there, but no, it's just seems to fall in place, and you know, it was a big win for us, complete win tonight. Tip your hat to Colby, he did a great job, and you know, we kept creating opportunities and capitalized and came away with a sweep.
Can't really put a value on momentum, but you can tell when it's there, and it's there right now for you guys. How do you keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way we've approached it all year, 1 game at a time, and we've done it throughout this series, and plan on continuing that into the next one against Seattle.
How big are these guys a part of that?
Oh, they're the best, and they've been behind us the whole way. Let's keep going.
Mitch, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Up top, let's send it back now to you.
All right, Emily. Yeah, how about the Rangers being 15-2 when Mitch hits a home run? Yeah, I bet he would wish Colby
hit him every day.
Exactly. Well, the Rangers win it. They complete the sweep tonight. 8-2 the final. We'll be back to Globe Life Park with more right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.